Hey everyone, thank you for watching. Today's video I'm really excited to do. It is going to be all about eyeshadow palettes. It's a little tag video today. It is also a collab, and there's also going to be a giveaway. There's a lot going on in this video, so let me explain what we're going to do. So it's all about eyeshadow palettes. There are 13 different prompts, and you have to pick your eyeshadow palette out of your collection that best matches that prompt. I've seen this. I'm a little bit newer to the TikTok scene, but I've seen this on TikTok, a few different of these kind of tags going around where it just says, you know, calling eyeshadow palette lovers, makeup lovers, whatever it may be, and then it says show your blank palette, and then you go through and you show your palette. And I thought this would be a really fun idea. I do a lot more fitness than I do beauty on my TikTok. If you like fitness and yoga or like little quick workouts, I'm Samantha March XO on TikTok. So I was thinking about doing that, and I was like, you know what, that would actually be a really fun YouTube video, and just something that's kind of more casual, relaxed. We're just having fun. We're talking about makeup. Obviously there's so much going on in the world right now that, you know, just to sit down and look at your eyeshadow palette collection and look through all your beautiful palettes and come up with these different answers to these tags, I thought it could make for a fun YouTube video as well. So I know that there's a lot of eyeshadow palette tag videos on YouTube, but this idea kind of stemmed from that TikTok. And I'm also really excited because today's video is actually a collaboration with Allie Glines. I'm so excited to collaborate with Allie. I think that she is just an amazing person in general, but she's such a fantastic YouTuber as well. She has so many good and just engaging videos. I'm sure a lot of you are already familiar with Allie Glines, but if you're not for some reason, I will link her in my description box. Of course, she's going to be doing this video as well, and I'm so excited to see what her different picks for these eyeshadow palettes are, so I'm really looking forward to watching her video myself. I've been following Allie's channel for quite some time. It's been really exciting to see what she's done throughout the years, including recently launching her own makeup bags. I spoke recently, it was in my last month's Makeup Monthly, that I just love the makeup bags that she came out with, and you know, that's so exciting to see for another creator. But I was actually also able to meet Allie at the American Influencer Awards last November in LA. We were both nominated in different categories, and first I saw her on the carpet and I was too afraid, and I was talking to my friend Shanna who was with me, and I was like, that's Allie, like there she is. And then we walk inside, and I could see her at the pre-party, her and her husband, and I was like, and Shayna was like, go, like, you have to go say something, like, you're here, this is what this is about, like, you gotta go say hi. And I don't know why I was so nervous, because just like how she comes across in her videos, she's just so sweet and so genuine. We spent so much time talking, and her and Thailand were so nice that even after the award show, they came to the after party just to say hi and congratulate me. And they had such a long drive and had to be at the airport the next day that they had to get back to their hotel, but they came by to say congratulations, and that was so cool. And Allie's just such a, I could spend most of this video just talking about why I think she's a great person and why I think that you should subscribe to her channel if you are not already. But please make sure to go check her out. We're both kind of newer into the TikTok space right now, and Allie's TikToks will crack you up if you just need to laugh and if you just need to have some fun. So I will definitely have her information and also her Instagram. All that is going to be in my description box, but I hope that you will also check out her video and see which eyeshadow palettes she chose. So we came up with 13 different prompts that we're going to go through. I'm going to show you the palettes that I chose out, and again, make sure you stay tuned till the end because we have a pretty big giveaway that we are doing, and I know we're both really excited to give back in this way. So let's go ahead and get started. All right, first up, number one is show your newest eyeshadow palette. My newest eyeshadow palette also happens to be what I have on my eyes today, and I actually did not even plan that, but it is from Sigma Beauty, and this is the Accord de Rosa palette. So at least at the time I'm filming this, because it's not going to go up for a little bit, but the time that I'm filming this, the Accord de Rosa palette from Sigma Beauty is my newest palette. Like I said, it is what is on my eyes today. I have a tutorial on my Instagram. I've done a tutorial here on YouTube with it. I'm such a fan of this palette. I really do enjoy the color schemes. Like, it's just so me. I love that you have a double-ended brush with it. The mattes in here are so beautiful, but the shimmers as well are just so smooth. I have a swatch video on my Instagram too. I'm I'm a big fan of this palette right now. So yes, my newest palette is from Sigma and it is the Corda Rosa. Second prompt, what is your oldest palette? And this was one that I was like, wait, what? I don't know, like what is my oldest palette? I had to go through my collection, and everything that I have are products that are currently in my collection. So, you know, I've been on YouTube for a while. Obviously, I've had makeup and eyeshadow palettes before I was on YouTube. I do declutters on a pretty regular basis. I've had a declutter series going for a while, but I did want to pull all palettes that I currently have in my collection. So I kind of pulled some of the ones that I thought were the oldest, and I thought maybe it might be my Dose of Colors Marvelous Mauves. I know that I've had that one for such a long time. I've hit pan on that one, so I was like, is it the Marvelous Mauves? And I ended up like looking myself up on YouTube to see. But actually the oldest palette in my collection currently is from Anastasia Beverly Hills, and it's the Modern Renaissance. Okay, this was a whole year before I had Dose of Colors Marvelous Mauves. The Modern Renaissance, I mean, this palette like blew up the internet and the online beauty community when it came out. So many people are raving about it. It was out of stock. I remember when people started to go crazy about it, I was trying to get it and it was out of stock everywhere. It kept running out. And I remember I eventually got it, and it was in one of the Sephora VIB sales, and it actually was still in sale when I could shop, and I got the 20% off, and I was like, no way. So I was so excited. Okay. I'm very light-handed. I'm a very gentle person, especially when it comes to my makeup. So there's times where I talk about like how much I use this palette, and people are like, first of all, that's a lie, because why is this so clean? Honestly, I don't know why this, I've seen other people's, because this has like the fuzzy like velvety packaging. I don't know, but also I honestly have used this so often. But also with the Anastasia Beverly Hills eyeshadow formula, they're one of the more pigmented formulas. I think over time they've definitely got even more pigmented, but even with the Modern Renaissance, like a little bit of shadow goes a very long way. And especially when I got this one several years ago, I wasn't like, even now I'm not like uber confident in my makeup skills, but back then I really wasn't all that confident. So like a little bit, and some of these shades, especially down here, they are, you know, darker tones, and with being more pigmented, it's like, did I really need that much? But I remember getting this palette around a time where a bunch of friends were getting married, and I was either going to weddings or as bridesmaids in weddings. I wore this palette so often. I even helped with makeup a couple times, and I would bring the Modern Renaissance to do like the bridesmaids eyeshadows as well. So this one has gotten a lot of love, and it's kind of funny because I did a video recently for my farewell tour for a few products, like products that I love and that were favorites, but I've just had them in my collection for a long time, and I know that I need to get rid of them. But instead of just like piecing out, like I'm giving them their farewell, like they got a special video about it. It's their farewell tour. I can speak. And I honestly thought about putting the Modern Renaissance in there, because I thought, wow, I've had that palette for a long time. Truly, I don't use it as much as I once did. There's a lot of palettes that I use a lot more. So I was like, maybe I should do the Modern Renaissance. And I was like, no, because the point of the farewell tour is that they're saying farewell. Like I'm getting rid of all the products, and I'm like, I'm not emotionally ready to get rid of my Modern Renaissance. Like, don't make me do it. Don't make me do it. All right, next up we have most expensive palette in your collection. My most expensive palette is from Natasha Denona, and this is the gold palette. This is by far the most expensive palette in my eyeshadow. Yes, the most expensive palette in my eyeshadow collection. For sure. These palettes retail for $129. Sometimes they get $129 and $125 mixed up because, you know, my girl Pat, hers are $125, but the Natasha's are $129. I will say that this was gifted to me, which is incredible to receive a gift like this. One of my favorite memories to share, like one of my favorite makeup memories to share, is I was gifted this palette around the time that we had our house for sale, and we would have showings, and we had a couple open houses in there when we were getting ready to move. And each time that we would have people come over, or especially if we had an open house where people can just, you know, kind of mill around as they want to, I would obviously take important items to me. I would take my laptop and, you know, just different things like that. I would take the gold palette every time. Every time I took the gold palette. I don't know why. But like, I took it every time. I was just so worried that someone might want to take it, and especially because it's such a pricey palette, I was like, no one can take this from me. So I do like it a lot. You know, the mattes in here, honestly, they really are some of the best matte eyeshadows that I have tried. When people ask me my thoughts on the gold palette, that's kind of my first thing that I'm saying, is like the mattes are incredible, and I love all the matte shades in here, like all the different tones of brown. Like, it makes me happy. Alrighty. But yeah, definitely my most expensive has to be from Natasha Denona. And then on the flip side, most affordable. So we're going from over $100 to $3. These are from ELF, and these are this is the Bite Size palette. I'm saying these are because I have multiples of them, but I just grabbed one here to show you. But these are a little bit newer from ELF, the Bite Size palettes. These retail for $3. You get 4 different shades in them, and I think that they're great. I purchased one to just see, wait, did I purchase 2? I think I just purchased one just to start off with and see what I felt about them, and then I believe I purchased 3 more. So I think I have a total of 4 and I still want more. Honestly, I just kind of want them all. I can't remember how many they have off the top of my head, but even like the green one and the blue one, like colors I don't wear as often, I'm like, kind of want those too. I mean, they're $3. So yeah, these ones are from ELF. I think that they're really nice palettes. All right, and next up we have Everyday palette, and I felt like there was a few that I could choose from, and then I was like, you know what, let's all say it together. Going back to Natasha Denona, the Mini Nude palette. This really is just such an everyday palette for me, and this is, I think about when I could leave and go places, even if it was just like in the next town over to see some friends. This is what I was bringing with me. These tones in here, I think that they're just beautiful. They're so easy for me to work with. I can even just do just mattes. Like, clearly I've hit pan on this one. I can do a little bit of shimmer. I can do a brow bone highlight and a corner highlight. I mean, I enjoy this palette so much. I have talked about it so much. I know a lot of you have purchased this palette off my recommendations, which this one is one of the mini palettes. So these are $25. So obviously quite a price difference between like the gold and everything, but it's still just my everyday palette. It's like it just is. It's my everyday palette. Is the Natasha Denona. I've lost it. The Natasha Denona Mini Nude. The next prompt is most colorful palette. And before you start laughing, if you are a Sam Squad member and you're like, what? Most colorful palette? That's just funny. I do have a few in my collection. I'll have you know. The one that I truly think this is my most colorful one, and I really like it. It's stuck with me through a lot of my eyeshadow palette declutters, and that is from Violet Voss, and it is the Flamingo palette. This palette is pretty colorful. Like, I don't have a lot of rainbow palettes and things like that because I just don't use them. I don't reach for them. Obviously, I don't buy them. But something about this Flamingo palette, when it came out, I thought it looked really fun. I bought it myself. I was like, I don't know. It's like kind of different from my collection, but if I would ever want to reach for some of these blues or greens, like there's a yellow in here. I don't, like, I just thought it would be fun. And I do think it's a fun palette. It's not my most used. It's not my everyday palette. I don't reach for it as often as a lot of other ones, but it's nice to have it in my collection. It's nice to have the option for when I want something a little bit more colorful, and I still really like my Flamingo from Violet Voss. Next up is show your smallest eyeshadow palette. So this is my only repeat because definitely my smallest eyeshadow palette is once again the ones from ELF. Like, I even for somehow I took out a few other palettes and I was like, maybe, no, this is by far my smallest. I mean, it's just tiny. Like, that just is what it is. So this is my only repeat though, is the one from ELF, but definitely the Bite Size palettes are truly bite-sized. Like the only way I was gonna get smaller was if I just showed like a single eyeshadow. That was it. All right, next up is show your biggest eyeshadow palette. And again, for some reason, I pulled a few out and like measured them against each other. But obviously it's the Jaclyn Hill palette from Morphe. This is by far the biggest one in my collection. I thought maybe I had some contenders, but definitely this is the biggest one. This is a 35 pan palette, and just overall, it's just a very large eyeshadow palette. So yes, this one from Morphe, Jaclyn Hill. Morphe and Jaclyn Hill. That one is definitely my biggest palette. All right, next up we have Best Memory. And there was a lot. There was a lot of palettes that I could have chose for Best Memory, but when I was going through all my different like collections and the places that I store my eyeshadow palettes, because for some reason there's a lot of them, but when I pulled this palette out, I was like, for sure, that's my like Best Memory. This is from ColourPop. This is the Smoke Show palette. This has been renamed to Blowing Smoke, I'm pretty sure. But when I bought this one myself, and when I bought it, it was still called the Smoke Show. This is a very, very different eyeshadow palette for me, like these gray tones, very cool tone. It looks very intimidating. Kind of the reason why I bought it, it went on sale and I was like intrigued by it, but I couldn't tell if it was like a good intrigue or like a I'm super scared intrigued. Then it went on sale, or like ColourPop was having a sale, and I was like, you know what? I really like the ColourPop formula. Like, let's just go for it. You know, one of the biggest reasons too is I don't have anything else like this in my collection. So it's not like I'm just buying, you know, a palette that I can so easily dupe, which I do that all of the time. So, you know, there's a few different reasons why I decided to buy it. But the reason why I say I have the best memory with this eyeshadow palette is this is the palette that I was wearing when I did win my award at the American Influencer Awards back in November. And it's just so funny because, of course, when I traveled from Iowa to California, I brought a bunch of makeup with me. I brought several different eyeshadow palettes. I'm pretty sure I brought the mini nude with me also. But when I was sitting down to get ready for the award show, I had like a black and silver sparkly dress. I had black and silver sparkly heels. And I was like, you know what? I had grabbed the Smoke Show. I had just purchased it. I just got it. I hadn't even tried it yet. The first time I used this palette was hours before going to the American Influencer Awards, walking the carpet, and then getting up on stage at the Dolby Theater to give an acceptance speech. Like, I don't know if that was the wisest decision on my part, but I felt like it worked out really well for me. I enjoyed the look that I did. Again, I already knew that I liked the ColourPop formula, so even though the shades intimidated me a lot, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go for it. I feel like this occasion calls for like this like gunmetal smoky eye. I had big lashes on, I had liner, like I had everything happening, and I felt like I really enjoyed the look. So yes, best memory, when I saw my Smoke Show, I was like, yeah, that's got to be the one, because you know that award was because of so many of you guys voting, so much of the Sam Squad voting. So it's just a memory that I'll never forget. Now I want to cry, so let's just move on. All right, next up is Worth the Hype. And I think these next two I kind of struggled with a little bit, but for Worth the Hype, I ended up going with Dose of Colors Friendcation palette. This was in collaboration with Katie and Desi. So, and the reason I say Worth the Hype is because I didn't purchase it right away. I actually purchased their eyeshadow quad that they came out with first in their like first round of collaboration with Dose of Colors, and I really did not like it. I didn't like the formula. I thought it was hard to use. I ended up decluttering it. I was not a fan. So when they came out with an eyeshadow palette, I was like, you know what? I'm not gonna do it. Like, I'll just wait and see what people are saying on their reviews. And a lot of people were hyping it up, and all of a sudden it was kind of everywhere in YouTube videos, and so many people are talking about it. And I was like, what, did I make a mistake? So I ended up purchasing it for myself, and it really was, like, it really is, still is, worth the hype. It still continues to be a top palette for me. You can just do some really cool looks with this. I like, you know, some of these transition shades and like the rose golds down here. And these ones, while I don't use some of these darker colors on their own a lot, it's also a palette where you can really easily mix and match and layer the shimmers and create different colors. So even though it's only a 10 pan palette, you can actually do a lot more with these shades. They're just all like I don't know what it is. They just all work so well with each other and it's so cool. But I really like this. I like the formula a lot better. Lot better than I did their first one. And you know, I purchased it because it started getting so much hype on YouTube, and I definitely don't regret it. So that is why I would say that it is worth the hype. And then on the flip side, show us an eyeshadow palette that isn't worth the hype. This one was really hard because again, there's a lot of palettes that kind of popped into my head but that I don't have around any longer. I was going back and looking at my old regrets videos. I was going back and looking at like yearly fails. I was like, what can I do for this one? But what I decided to do is actually a palette from Viseart. So this is the Warm Mattes. I think it's like warm neutral mattes on the website or something like that. And the reason why I say not worth the hype is, again, I thought this video would be like a fun opportunity to kind of like look back, let you guys know I like nostalgia a lot. So I was like really trying to look back. But I remember when I had only been on YouTube for like a short period of time. There was only a handful of YouTubers that I was even watching at the time, but I kept hearing about Viseart eyeshadows, like in particular, like these kind of like all matte 16 paint, no, that's wrong, 12. 4 times 3 is 12. Math is hard. Especially about these palettes, and I would see them used a lot by like, you know, the big beauty gurus and everything. And I can remember the first time, because especially when I first got on YouTube, like I was buying so much of what was recommended to me, and a lot of it was either like brands that I'd never tried, you know, products that I'd never even heard of. Like I didn't highlight before YouTube. Hello, like I was like, what is that? I don't understand. And so when people were talking about Viseart, I was like, I think I said Viseart for probably the first while that I even started talking about them on my channel. And when I got this palette, and this one came in a Beautylish Lucky Bag. I'm fairly like the first Beautylish Lucky Bag. I think I'm saying that correctly. When I got this one, I was so excited to try it out. And after I tried it, I was like, okay, I just really don't understand the hype about these, because I think that these are fine matte shadows. They're kind of a formula that you can build it up a little bit more, which I've realized over the years that I do like a lot, versus something a little bit more pigmented that's harder to blend out. But I just didn't see, especially for when I first got this, because I believe this palette is $80. That is very expensive. That's still very expensive to me. And I just didn't really see the hype about this one. But because I saw so many people talking about them and using them, I was like, this is gonna, like, this is amazing. Like, oh my gosh, I can't believe this. And I just didn't really see the hype. I like the Viseart smaller palettes a lot more. Just kind of more like the, I don't know if it's like Petite Pro, but just some of those smaller palettes, I like those a lot more. I know a lot of people recommend these for like even like working makeup artist or like in film and all of that, which definitely makes sense and I get it. But you know, just for me personally, I didn't quite see the hype on these. So that is what I ended up going for in that category. The next one is show a favorite palette from a favorite brand. So of course, one of my favorite brands, especially for eyeshadow palettes in particular, is ColourPop. I have bought a lot of their eyeshadow palettes myself. I've bought a lot of their products just in general myself. I'm a really big fan of the brand. But this one, just the Sweet Talk, man. Is the sweet, like the Sweet Talk is just a palette that I didn't expect to love as much as I did. I passed over this palette when it came out. I was like, you know what? I'm not gonna buy it. I just bought a bunch from ColourPop. They're a brand that releases a lot. I was like, you know what? I've bought a lot from them. When the Sweet Talk collection came out in their spring collection a couple years ago, I really didn't even give it a second look because I was like, I've already bought enough from ColourPop. Like, I'm good. They sent me over their spring collection, which it has been really exciting to catch ColourPop's attention for sure. But when they sent over the collection, from the first time that I used the eyeshadow palette, I was like, what was I thinking? Like, what was I thinking? This is such a nice palette and it has so many shades in here that I am just such such a fan of. Even the Super Shock, the second one here is a Super Shock shadow, and I am not really a huge fan of Super Shock shadows from ColourPop. They're some of the first items I bought from the brand. I believe they're the first items the brand came out with, and I'm like, yeah, okay. But that shade, I almost always wear that shade when I reach into this eyeshadow palette. I think that it's beautiful. I have traveled with this palette so much. One time I was wearing it and Kathleen Lights complimented me on my eye look, like in person, when I was at a party with her. It's like really not that big of a deal, you know? And I just enjoy this palette so much. I've done ranking videos, like eyeshadow palette ranking videos. I've done ColourPop ranking videos, and I have recommended this over and over and over and over again. So favorite palette from a favorite brand, we got Sweet Talk from ColourPop. All right, the 13th and final prompt is most used. And when we first came up, because we both kind of contributed to the list and Allie had suggested most used, I was like, okay, most used. I was thinking like, should I do my Natasha Denona, because that's kind of like an everyday palette. And then I thought, as I kind of put everything together and I was putting my list together and pulling out eyeshadow palettes, I decided I was gonna have most used be like most used kind of like overall in my makeup collection. Now that's really hard to say like definitively, because I've had a lot of eyeshadow palettes for a very long time, but I also just wanted to give a nod to this palette. I mentioned it earlier, but my Dose of Colors Marvelous Mauves. This palette, you know, I thought it might be one of the oldest in my, well, it is one of the oldest in my collection, but I thought it might be the oldest in my collection, but I've definitely had it for a very long time. But it is also such a used palette because it's smaller. You have a five pan palette. I've hit pan on this one as well, but because it's smaller, I have taken this one, like even traveling so much. I can recall multiple vacations. A lot of times my husband and I would go on trips around our birthdays with another couple, and I can remember, like, I know that I wore this on our Arizona trip. I know that I wore this on wherever we went after Arizona, I can't remember now. I just, even our smaller trips, like I have taken this one. If there was a prompt of like which palette has traveled the farthest with you or whatever, it would be the Marvelous Mauves. So when I think of most used, that's how I decided I want to answer this question. If you do this video, if you're answering along with me, you can answer it however you want, but I just really wanted to give a nod to this palette because I'm such a fan of it. Once again, I know a lot of people have bought the Marvelous Mauves because of me, because when I first got it, I couldn't stop raving about it. I've just used this one so much. Obviously, again, there's a pan in the second shadow there, but yeah, I just wanted to make sure that I gave a shout out to my Dose of Colors Marvelous Mauves. I have a lot of good memories with this one too, and it's just a palette that I enjoy so much. So after that, those are the 13 different prompts. I hope that you had fun kind of going through my eyeshadow palette collection, seeing some of my picks for these. I would love to know yours in the comments, of course. If you have a channel, I would love if you did this one too. But before we go, Allie and I do also have a giveaway, and I know that we're both really excited to do it. And this giveaway is gonna have 6 winners, so that is fantastic. We're going to be giving away 6 different $50 gift cards to Ulta Beauty. So these are going to be e-gift cards, so that we can send them to you, so you can pick out whatever it is that you want from the Ulta Beauty website and treat yourself right now. So we really wanted to team up for a giveaway, and when we were thinking about different ideas we could do, we thought a gift card would be a really good option, so you can pick out whatever it is that you want if there's something that you've been eyeing from the Ulta Beauty website. So 6 different winners, 3 from my channel, 3 from Allie's channel, are going to be winning a $50 gift card, and we will be sending those out to you. It's going to be super simple to enter. Just make sure you're subscribed to my channel. Make sure you're subscribed to Allie's channel. I know you will want to if you for some reason aren't already. Definitely make sure that you subscribe to her channel. Just make sure to like this video and leave a comment down below. I would say if you're entering, so that way I know, probably just do a hashtag SamSquad. That's usually what I do when I'm doing giveaways, and I'm doing the comment to have you enter. That way, if you still want to leave a comment, you want to share, you know, a prompt of like your eyeshadow palette that you're choosing out, but you don't want to enter into the giveaway, just don't leave that hashtag. But if you are entering, please make sure to leave that, and I will choose 3 people from the comments that have the hashtag SamSquad in there. So again, Allie is going to be choosing 3 from her channel as well, so make sure you head over there, check out her video. I'm really excited to see all her different picks and the reasonings behind them myself, and all of the other details for the giveaway will be in my description box. So if you have any other questions on that, please make sure to check out the description box, and hopefully that that will be answered there. But just make sure you're a subscriber here and to Allie's channel and leave that comment down below if you want to win a $50 gift card to Ulta Beauty. Other than that though, that is it for today's video. I hope that you enjoyed it and just had fun, and it was just a relaxing time to sit and talk about makeup, something that we have, you know, such a bond and a connection over. Thank you so much to Allie for collaborating with me on this video. It was so fun to do a collaboration with her. I know I've said it a million times, but please go check her out if you haven't yet. Other than that though, that is it. If you guys did enjoy this video, I hope that you will give it a thumbs up. I hope that you'll also consider subscribing before you go, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.